For our next guest, basketball is more than a sport. It's a way of life. Chris Paul has been dominating the game for over 18 years. He's a 12-time All-Star with the third most assists and steals in NBA history. And he's also a two-time Olympic gold medalist.
And will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Now Chris is an author as well. He's got a new book out. It's a memoir. It's also a tribute to his elite grandfather. It's called 61, Life Lessons from Papa, on and off the court. And Chris is here to talk about that. Also going to talk about some little trade news that was made a few days ago. Good to have you back.
Good morning.
Hey, how are you guys? Thanks
Doing
for having me.
Doing great. Before we get into the book, for folks who don't know, Sunday night, word gets out that you've been traded from the Suns to the Wizards. You're in the air. As I understand it, you get a text from your son. Was that the first you'd heard of it?
Yeah, it was. But it is what it is, you know what I mean? Such is life. You know, I'm blessed to play in this league or whatnot. But, yeah, that was that.
So there have been some who have suggested that you may not actually ever play in Washington. They might bout the contract. They might trade you to another team. Have you had any conversations with Washington about that?
Not one conversation. You know, it's funny in this league, obviously things happen, news breaks, but it's not official until they do like trade calls and all the different stuff. So we don't know yet, but when it's time, I know we'll deal with it.
Last question.
What does that feel like? You know, not knowing.
You know what? I think the good thing about it is that I know I'll be playing. You know, it's a good problem to have if you call it a problem. So it is what it is.
Before we get to the fun stuff, last question about this. If Chris Paul had his druthers, where would CP3 play?
I mean, if that was the case, I loved being in Phoenix.
Okay.
Right? Phoenix was amazing, the way they were with my family, the fans, and everything like that. So in this league, you learn that different things happen and it's out of your control.
Well, speaking of family, let's talk about this book. It's a tribute to your late grandfather, Nathaniel Papa Jones. He owned and operated, let me understand, the first black-owned service station there in North Carolina.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk to me about what he meant to you and how you're honoring his legacy even now.
He was everything. He was everything. I mean, we was just talking about R.J. Reynolds and Tobacco Road. My granddad used to be working on, he used to be working on cars with a cigarette hanging out his mouth, talking, you know what I mean? And just showing me and my brother and our family what the work looked like.
Yes.
Right? Just day in and day out. I talk about it in my book, just the way his hands look. It was just so nasty with oil and stuff on him all the time.
The smell.
He didn't care. He ate like that, too. You know, he ate.
Wow.
He washed his hands and nothing would come off. But the love that he showed to our entire family is something that I'll never forget.
And the title of your book, 61, comes from that famous game you played where, to honor him, who died prematurely at the age of 61, you scored 61 points purposely. You know, you throw that last shot out of bounds so you don't go above 61. What did that mean to you to achieve that goal?
And it meant everything. You know, November 14th, I signed my letter of intent to go to Wake Forest. On the 15th is when my grandfather was murdered. The 19th was his funeral. The 20th was the first game of my senior year. And so I had 59. I drove, made the shot, and got fouled. And that's when I walked to the free throw line and threw the ball out and looked over at my dad and my brother, and I just hugged them and cried because I knew all my family was in town for the funeral. So it was something that we could share for the rest of our lives.
Wow. I have to give you a huge congratulations. You just graduated this past December from Winston-Salem, 20 years after you first went to school in Wake Forest.
Took a while, didn't it?
Better late than never.
You had some things going on.
Amen.
How did it feel? What was it like to be able to,
great.
walk across the stage?
Man, it was a surreal feeling. I actually had a game in L.A. the night before. So I played in L.A., jumped on the plane with all my family, flew to Winston-Salem, got a chance to graduate from Winston-Salem State, and got on the plane and flew back and had another game the next night.
My goodness.
Wow. And your mom is here.
Yeah.
Mrs. Paul.
Proud mama right there.
Come give this lad a hug.
Mrs. Paul.
Come on.
We can walk in.
Sure. Come on.
We can walk in.
Man, that lady hugged me all the time.
I love the kicks, by the way.
That's right.
I love mom's
Color
kicks.
coordinator.
So proud of that.
Chris,
So
thank you.
proud of
Ms.
you.
Paul,
You must be
thank
so
you.
proud.
Remember, his new book
proud.
is out today, 61 Life Lessons from Papa, on and off the court.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.